Senator Gillibrand, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. General McConville, the conclusion of the conflict in Afghanistan demonstrated that we did not accurately assess the Afghan military's capabilities. The Army now has security force assistant brigades designed to train partner forces and accurately report their progress. Can you describe how the SFABs, the SFABs, assess foreign forces, and how are their assessments checked for accuracy by the DoD? And more to the point, we understood in Afghanistan that there was a question about will to fight. They were very well trained, but there was not necessarily a high regard for the Ghani government because of corruption. And so the question that should have been asked is, will these Afghan forces who are well trained die for this particular government, or would they rather hand over their weapons to the Taliban because they'd rather not die and be under new leadership? So do we ask the type of political questions that analysis would require to assess will to fight? And also, with regard to Senator King's line of questioning, we learned in Ukraine that the Ukrainians did very much have a will to fight because their leader inspired that will by determination to stand his ground. So when we're making these assessments, I understand our training's excellent, and I understand you can train anyone to have full capability, but the will to fight is about much more. And so have you changed how you make this assessment?
Well, Senator, we're certainly taking a look at that. We had a better idea when first of all, the thing, we haven't spent a lot of time in Afghanistan. When we were the Afghans and we were a company and we were shana b'shana, shoulder to shoulder, fighting with the Afghans fought, and that's what tends to happen when you have cohesive units working together. As we brought down our forces and we were less and less with those who were on the leading edge, people will say they'll fight, and then you take a look at them, and we've given them the best equipment, much better than the Taliban had. We gave them the capacity, and really a much greater capacity than the Taliban had. But there's something inside soldiers when they go to combat, and that's where leadership really matters. And it matters all the way up, because when people look up and they say, am I willing to die for my country, that's hard to measure at times. And obviously in Afghanistan, we didn't measure that correctly. I'm very impressed with what the Ukrainians are doing as far as the will to fight. As we talk to other allies and partners, we hold up the example of what the Ukrainians have done as an example of what we should expect for those that we're going to support.
In November 2021, the Army enacted the Cyber Military Intelligence Group, which is designed to provide intelligence support to Army Cyber Command. Can you describe the mission, function, and personnel of this newly formed unit, and how would this unit operate in a large-scale conflict like the war in Ukraine?
Well, I think, as you know, the importance of our cyber command. I think we have the best in the world in the appropriate support. I was just down there for the change of command, and what they are doing in support of Ukraine. Their mission is extremely important, and not only protecting but also a defensive, offensive, and working in the intelligence community, getting the information that we need to provide to our partners has been very helpful.
Secretary Wormuth, the committee was briefed that services will be implementing the DoD's Independent Review Commission recommendations on sexual assault. Can you provide more detail on when you expect these recommendations to be implemented in the Army, and how you will roll these recommendations out to your force to ensure service members are sufficiently informed?
Sure, Senator Gillibrand. We've been trying to, frankly, move out on those recommendations as quickly as we can. So, for example, right now we're focused on developing a prevention workforce. That was one of the Independent Review Commission recommendations. So we're looking at exactly what that means in terms of the kind of people that we need to have, how many people we need to have, and where we can best use them to what extent do we already have folks who work for the Army, who do perform duties that are related to preventing harmful behaviors. So we're working on finalizing that plan. As I mentioned in my opening statement, we will be standing up the Office of Special Trial Counsel, which will report directly to me in July. We have a promotion or a selection board to pick the individual who will be that special trial counsel. And then we've also started doing things like the fusion directorates for our SHARP program that puts all of the resources for survivors in one place. And I actually was able to visit one of the fusion directorates at Fort Sill in Oklahoma recently and was very impressed with what they're doing. So we're trying to move quickly and would be happy to come and talk with you and your staff in more detail if you'd like.
Thank you very much. Let me know.